All right, well, welcome. I want to call the town board meeting for September 9th to order. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everybody's in attendance. 7:04. All right, we're gonna open the floor up to privileges. We're gonna read our privileges of floor rules. At every regular scheduled town board meeting, the public has the right to address the town board during a portion of the meeting referred to as privileges of the floor, which shall take place after the reports of the town department and supervisor. Members of the public wishing to speak during privileges of the floor may sign a sheet before the commencement of the town board meeting indicating his or her name, address, and proposed topic. Signing the sheet will dictate the order in which persons are recognized to speak and will assure the town clerk has the correct spelling of their names and address for the minutes. Members of the public to restrict their comments to items of town business in order to observe proper decorum while addressing the town board. Persons who become unruly, who use inappropriate language, or persist in speaking in terms not related to town business may be ruled out of order. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers may address one or more items in their comments. They should be considerate of others and try to limit their remarks to no more than 5 minutes so that all interested members of the public will have the opportunity to be heard. And with that, I'll open it up at 7:06.
Mike, I don't know if you want to hear this part now or at a later portion, but this is the response basically from the zoning review committee.
Yeah, I was going to open up for a little bit later on that.
Fine.
For a separate section.
Cool.
This is for general business. All right. If there's nothing further, we'll close privileges at 7:07. I'd like to go through some just current business. I know, Nick, you've got a place to go, so I put a couple items on here I need to review.
I was looking at it, yeah.
That hot patch proposal, so for the town, Nick and I met with Dane, I can't remember his last name.
Mellon.
Dane Mellon, and talk about two projects, the hot patching or sealing of the cracks on the Willow Run neighborhood and Princetown Plaza, and then the Princetown Plaza, our parking lot, and maybe the state police. Typically the proposals are based on 1,000 gallons or 3,000 gallons, something like that, and then a full day's work. So we've got it. The only problem with it, Nick, it doesn't refer to any county proposal. So I'm not sure if we're getting county pricing. So at this point I can't use it. So I called Dean back and I told him that, and I told him to refax it in. I haven't heard from him, so we want to try him again. He's got to refer to the county, otherwise we need to get 3 prices, because the price is about $6,800.
Yeah. Yeah, we could check with the county and see what they want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
In fact, I was with them today, and we're on River Drive. And they're gonna do the culverts. They're gonna call me when they're ready. I'm gonna go up there and show them which ones we want done. Myself and George, me and George were studying it when we had that last storm, and the water was shooting right out of the manholes, you know? So we're telling them which ones we want cleaned.
So we're talking about the basins or the culvert? Yeah, I'm
Culverts,
thinking
the culverts. Well,
the stormwater management culvert.
yeah, but it goes to the basins, you know.
Mm-hmm. The pipe.
The pipe, it's all the pipes. It's up on the upper portion of the road, they're plugged up, you know? the lower portion, and water goes through so fast it must be cleaned out, you know. So they're gonna call me when they're gonna do it, and I'll be there. And, but they're figuring on putting a day in, Mike, like you talked to Joe about that, I think, you know?
So, the stormwater culverts, stormwater management culverts is also a concern because they're full and they're not draining. That's what we need to talk about too. We need to get them to do a price on that too. So we could,
That's what we're doing, Mike.
I thought you said that you were cleaning out the basins.
No, they're gonna clean the pipes. They're gonna do the pipes.
Well, what about the culverts themselves?
Well, you gotta clean them too.
So we're gonna back all that stuff out?
They work out of that.
No, it was the pipes and manholes.
They work out of the manholes to clean the pipes.
Right. But what about the culverts? That's,
That is it, that is the culvert. Oh, you mean the ditches?
right.
No, there's no ditches there, it's all storm sewer. I mean, it's all culvert pipes. With
That last
catch
house
basins.
has got, and when he engineered the neighborhood, those are stormwater management culverts. They're full now, just over years in dirt and washed out, which is backing up into the pipes now. It's those culverts that need to be cleaned for stormwater management.
You're talking about the retention ponds?
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. We're just doing the street. We're doing the pipes in the street.
So we need, but otherwise it's not gonna fix anything.
Well, it's gonna keep the water in the sides of the road instead of down the middle of it.
Right, but we need to clear out the stormwater management.
Well, that's another project then. There's nothing to do with what they're doing. So I could go there looking it over and see, maybe, it's right on, almost on a piece of property.
It is on people, but we should have the right of way. If not, we can get it.
We can check it over and see if the pipes aren't working, I can get in there with a backhoe and clean them a little so they'll work, you know? But we gotta look it over. I haven't, tell you the truth, I haven't checked that at all.
Yeah, I
I'm just
mentioned.
concerned with the road, you know?
Yeah. I was up there Saturday when George had his thing going on at the, and I walked over there and I took a look. I mean, they're full. They're half, the pipes are half buried, so
Yes.
obviously nothing's gonna happen. And that's why it's backing up. Okay, so can we put that on the thing to do list?
Yeah, we don't need to get together. You and I were gonna walk in their backyard and look it over, if you remember, right? And maybe we do that, you know what I mean? On that one house where we're having a problem. Now, George and myself and the county was looking at it today, and they were saying about running a drainage storm sewer where that water is coming before it gets in the road, and put a pipe into the storm sewer of the road, so we get away from that water going on the road. It's on the property, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know it's confusing.
So let me try to grab some time, maybe Thursday after work.
Yeah, we'll go over there and tap on their door and go in their backyard
Yeah.
and see what we can do with it, see where the water's going. Maybe if we can revise it in their backyard and let it run down the back of their yards, it won't go in the street, you know what I mean? But now we're talking about going on their property.
This is the property that had ice buildup.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, it's unfortunately sounds, okay.
Okay, another issue here is that I put the mirror up, and I didn't like the way it was because it's too close to the tunnel, so you really can't see if cars are coming that good, but you can see them. So I wanted to put a pole in 30 foot away and put the mirror over there. So I made the mistake of calling the county and asked them if it would be okay if I dig a hole and put a pole in and put the mirror there. And they told me to take the mirror down. I have no authorization to even put it up. So I'll take it from there. So I don't know, you gotta get permission from the state or from the county, I don't know what we're doing with that.
Those are actually private poles. The
Yeah.
utilities.
Well, I explained to them, it was there before, I just replaced it where it is.
Yeah.
But it isn't that good where it is for it not working.
Yeah, that's why I was concerned about when we were doing it.
Well, there's
Because
no problem.
Well, I mean, you know, National Grid pays so much money for the pole, and Verizon, and then MCI, and whoever else, they pay for the real estate of the pole. So what's plan B?
Plan B is I'm waiting for Joe. I talked to his men today, they said they talked to him, Joe Ryan from the county. and see, let's get down to nitty gritty and see why we can't have a mirror there for safety. Their thing they're gonna come up with is saying that it might cause an accident and we're gonna get sued or something because there's a mirror up there. So I don't know, but there was one there 25 years ago. And he says, well, that was 25 years ago, okay? I didn't talk to Joe, actually. I talked to his sidekicks. So I'm gonna wait until he calls me and see what he says now and what we can do about it. That's it.
Alright. So we're gonna get in touch with Dane. He's gonna give us a new proposal on hot compassion and or get in touch with the county.
Right.
Alright. I got the 2015 resurface proposals for Willow Run and Princetown, so it's in there for the budget purposes, but again, he's not referencing any county or state bids or proposals. So, you know, for planning purposes, it's in there, and I think I got copies here somewhere.
Can you price it, Mike? Can you give a price on it?
With Willow Run, Shagbark, and Princetown Plaza, it was $142,000.
It's the same as it was before, right? Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going to go ahead with the basins, I'm calling the basins and storm pipes. We're going to get a price on the culvert clean out. The actual backhoe in there.
You talked to him and you quoted the thing to me and saying that he said you got to put a day in. If he gets there, it's cheaper to put the whole day in with the men. So I talked to Ralph and what's his name, Pete, and they were there today, and they said that they'll do them all. I mean, they got a day's work, they can clean them all. So that's what we're going to go for. Now I don't know what he didn't give you a price on it, did he?
For
a day?
Yeah, probably. So let me get in touch with Joe tomorrow. I mean, I'd like to clean out the storm water culverts. Because otherwise, we're not really gaining anything by cleaning the basins or the...
No, we're gaining. You gotta clean the basins because the water's pouring out of them when we get a storm.
And I know that part, but the part is, the culverts are full, so the water's got nowhere to go. So even if you clean the pipe...
Then the water will flow down the street, down to the end. Right now, it's flowing down the top of the road.
Yeah, okay. And then there's been some requests for speed reduction on Dwaynesburg Road. You know, a couple accidents we've had over the summer. So, so I don't know if we want to put together a letter to DOT, put a study in.
It's hard to change the speed on that road, I know, but we can try it. You know?
Okay. So we'll put together a letter. George, I'm sorry, is there anything else for Nick? Okay. Anything for Nick? Doug?
No.
Joe?
No.
Lou?
No, thank you.
Bob?
No, thanks, Nick.
Water Department?
Oh, not a heck of a lot going on right now. We replaced the antennas on Rooter Drive tank and the well house. And the one on Rooter Drive wasn't transmitting that well anymore. It was giving us a lot of problems with communications. The Rooter Drive booster pump sprung a little leak in the copper on Labor Day weekend. Mark Randy, we temporarily fixed it. He was going to do it today, but he got tied up in an emergency from yesterday into today, and now planning on tomorrow replacing the whole copper, all the copper pipes and fittings. Outside of that, it's pretty quiet.
Good. That's always good. Just for the board's edification, so, and George already knew, but yesterday, Lowell Carson signed his agreement, and building sign, so that contract is in effect now. Did you put a deposit on down?
Yes.
Yeah, so the deposit's down, so I sent Doug a note, Doug Cole, so, you know, for the board and everybody else, that project's moving forward. I'm not sure how fast it'll go, but everything's signed, sealed, and delivered now.
Yeah, it'll take, you know, by the time everything gets into NCON and the state health department, and county health departments, and they approve the plans, and, you know, you're looking at 3-4 months anyway before there's any final approval coming down.
Mhm.
But I know they're hoping they can get away with just putting a service in, but the health department might go, no, you might have to pipe it a certain way, you know, to his property or something, put a 6-inch pipe or a 4-inch pipe in.
No, it sounds all good. He was pretty excited to get moving forward, so it sounds like he's got a pretty good business plan, so good for him, good for us, good for everybody.
Yeah, and I see, I think Carver sold a piece of property to Sinjoni Sausage or something up there.
Who has it?
And that, I think it's gonna be hooking on the water, so. That one that's up there in Settles Hill, turnover in that time.
Yeah. All good news. All right, anything for George?
Yeah, George, did the electric go off on Ruder Drive over there, or did it,
Yeah,
it did go off for a while?
went off.
Going off today at my house.
Okay.
How long was that?
It went off today at my house, because the television in the garage
Yeah.
for the cat was off.
Well, that's why I went there with the county, and I've got alarms going through, and went down there, and the generator was running, and I said, well, it was off for, you know, short period of time anyway, it must have.
Doug, anything for George? Joe?
No, thanks, George.
Lou?
I'm fine, George, thank you.
Tom? Thank you, sir. Town planner?
The planning department didn't take any funds this month. We have one outstanding bill. Sandy did? Yes. Oh, we did take in some funds this month. And I've been doing my regular duties of assisting the residents with the numerous questions they've had regarding their land and zoning issues. I had questions to answer from about 6 different residents. There'll be one small new subdivision application in the works, and it's just a 2-parcel subdivision. And Loretta Coolin came to work with me and to create a desk manual for the town planner. And she asked me many questions about my daily tasks, and I provided the answers and many data sheets and forms, and she put it all together into a comprehensive desk manual, and that'll be useful for the next person who comes to fill the planner position. And with that being said, I just wanted to thank you all for the time that I spent here. I really enjoyed being the town planner for the town of Princetown and working with everybody and with the residents, and it's been a great learning experience. And Sandy brought in cookies for me to share with everyone after the meeting in my office. If you want to stop by.
It is a sad day. It is a sad day. You know, you're a great help and a great assistance, and you gave us some, you know, good advice and thoughts, and you know, I appreciated, you know, all your effort. You went to Disney World and came back and quit. What's wrong with Disney World? Yeah, exactly. But for myself, you know, thank you very much. You know, you came in and gave us a great hand. You know, especially with E-Code, you know, Paul and the ZRC, I'm sure Pat and, you know, the planning board are appreciative, and personally I am too. I mean, I know I've come in and asked you and talked to you about a lot of stuff, so appreciate it. New York State DOT's some lucky people, so thank you very much.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. All right. Code enforcement.
Okay. Comments again. Got a wood stove, got 4 solar, and 1 septic repair for $225 total. I drove by Besenval's farm for those special, I just look at the list of the special use things. And they're not operating that farm stand, so we don't have to worry about that one. And I'm gonna start going through and check them. Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that's about it, it's been slow.
Okay. There was a message on my machine from Mr. Fowler, Bernie Fowler from 103 West Road. He said he called you. Did you get in touch with him?
Was that the grass guy?
Yeah. Okay, yes.
I went up there and looked at him, they cut the grass, they didn't cut all the lawn, but they cut around the house. And I don't know if the house has been abandoned or for sale, there's no for sale sign.
Right.
But the grass was cut reasonably around the house, you know.
Right. Did you talk to him just to tie off with him?
Nobody was around.
Right. I think I have his cell phone. I can give you that.
I got his number.
Right. Yeah, just to tie off and say, hey, I was there, it looks good. Thanks for your concern.
It wasn't that none of the grass was cut at all, you know, it looked like nobody was living there, somebody was maintaining it.
Cool.
But the house is empty.
Huh. All right. And then there's an email, and I should have printed it up and gave it to you. I thought I forwarded it to you about some land clearing complaints on Ryan's Corner.
I gotta call her back, I went and looked at that.
Okay.
Ben Price owns the property, I found that out, I called Bob Frost, I thought Bob owned it, but he doesn't.
Is it right there in the corner?
Right on the corner, where they been bush hogging.
It's been going on for a year.
Where they been-
Oh, you went down the other side of the tree.
He went up into the tree, so Saturday I had to go up and look at a porch on Reynolds Road. I wanted a permit, which he's supposed to show up tonight. And on my way back, I drove up there. And I drove all the way up there, and they had a skid steer there, because I drove by Friday and saw it.
Yeah.
And what they did is they blew through the rock wall so they could get to the next field. And they're bush hogging it.
Yeah.
I mean, they cleared some of the brush, but they didn't disturb, you know, enough land to get sweeps.
No.
I gotta call her back, that's one of the things I'm doing tonight, is let her know what's going on.
Yeah, I was wondering where it was, because that's been going on for so long, but,
It's just cut,
yeah, just understood.
they're not stripping it, you know, there's gonna be runoff, the grass is all still there.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll give her a call.
Cool.
Done.
Doug?
Of course.
Joe?
Oh, good.
Lou?
Thank you, Nick.
Bob?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
Great.
No justice report and no Darla. All right. We haven't done the action register for a while, so I just want to go through it real quick. We've actually, and I got some feedback from just about everybody. We've actually closed, you know, it might not look like it, it might be a pain in the neck to everybody, but, you know, we go to the back page, we've actually closed a lot of actions. So, it may not look like progress, but it's slow and steady. So, I'll just go through some of them, but I need the board to start looking at their actions here. Records management, so Loretta submitted some documents to Mike. Mike's going to give some feedback. Next one down is the escrow policy. Actually put that on the table and we'll review it complete with the zoning chapters. Vouchers and abstract. I'm going to hopefully set up a staff meeting with the full staff in October to review just the policy on voucher submission and the abstract policy procedures. Workplace or violence in the workplace procedure. So I've tabled that till we're done with zoning chapters. Training, I've also tabled that until after the budget season and the zoning chapters. Town hall procedures, as you heard, Laura's sat with Loretta, so Loretta got hers partially documented. Loretta, I don't know if you saw the note from Heather, but she sent some thoughts too. Okay. I know you've sat with some of the other departments, so that's moving along pretty good. I know you need to sit with me and try to grab some time.
Just make the rounds of the workplaces in Hampton Drive.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Down. The computers and technologies, so actually we've got it right here, most of it. Oops, some of it. So we're about ready, and it's actually kind of key because it's a good time to move into the budget season. We've been lucky that the computers on the XP have managed to hold their own, but so we're going to do some review during the budget season. We're ready to get we're going to try to set up a presentation for the board. So it looks like we're getting ready to move forward on that. Good job, Loretta. Computer support, the same thing. There's actually, Loretta did some comparisons of some of the old bills from Amos, et cetera, and then it's important to do a comparison because when it comes to maintenance, how much we're spending versus how much it might cost to just buy a maintenance package. The server backup procedure, so Loretta's already acknowledged I gave that to her, and she's going to incorporate it into procedures.
We are getting daily updates now from the vendor that they are doing the backup every day now.
So Amos is sending out alerts saying they're doing the backups, which is very cool. Permit tracking, so Nick already left, so that's on. We'll continue to monitor that. And that's in joint with the procedure we use to develop with Sandy and Heather and Loretta and the planning board, zoning boards. The town website, we continue to monitor it. As you guys have probably seen on your way in, Tim's mounted the monitor, so it looks good, Tim. I haven't looked at it real close, but it's nice and shiny.
That's good.
A whole bunch of stuff too, I mean.
Well, that's what I'm gonna, yeah, I haven't looked at it and seen, I mean, I know you guys have scrolling screens and stuff, some good information on there, it's all good stuff. Town court, I just want to put this in, so the OCA has reviewed our procedures and is developing the software to integrate the Princetown into their software with the credit card. So well, hopefully we'll see that come to some fruition soon, and that'll give us the ability to use credit cards in the court. ZRC, we've got the chairman here, so we'll skip over that for now. Next one down for me is the Town Hall Water Department asset inventory. So this was kind of based on the barcoding software. So right now, there's not been a lot of activity on this. I need to follow up on it and see what that barcoding software is. We want to try to use it not only as an asset inventory or capital inventory for the town, but we'd like to use it for the water department and the tax collection. So when a resident comes in, they just scan it and the whole screen pops up and it's all said and done. So that's still being worked. The financials, the 5-year capital improvement plan. So I've got a draft of it in here somewhere. So we want to work that during these budget process for this year. Town hall security. I know Lou, you put some request in. 2 notes on that. We want to include it hopefully as part of the RFP that Loretta's working on, and also Judge Miller said he can get it as a grant from the Office of Court Administration, like a 4-way camera, or 4 cameras, I guess, in here, 2, and then maybe 4 outside, looking up, down, and then 2 in the into the lobby. So there may be an opportunity to get it for free. Lou, I was gonna ask on state police barracks, pretty much we've got everything done for this year. Okay to close this item, you think, or you wanna look at it a little more, or what?
Well,
So it's all
we've
for
got the roof
2014.
going in.
Okay,
That's gonna be completed within a month. And we ordered the window. I can't see anything else that's gotta be done over there this year,
okay.
other than that.
So if it's okay with you, then I'll leave this one open until we complete that. and then-
Yes, maybe that would be the best way.
Very cool. So I have another one down. Grant writing committee, no update. It's just a matter of time now, we gotta get through zoning chapters and the budget, revenue opportunities, we haven't done too much work on it. And then, obviously, again, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but, you know, we did get some work done this year on our action register there, so I don't know how many, 15 items, so not too bad. All right. I'll open it up to the board for thoughts, comments, updates, anything? Doug?
Yeah, I was wondering, I asked at the last town board meeting, about the judge, and you said you didn't know too much what was going on, what's happening with that. We're still paying this month, 1,500, and I think it was 15.
Yeah. So the Office of Court Administration kind of dictates what we're doing here. So, because he's never in the position before and had to go through training like everybody else, has got to read certain, you know, he's got to pass certification level, I guess. So he's got to take X number of courses and then do so many things, and he's got to get mentored, and he's got to be, he's got to, so it's a regular process. So that's the reason why we're sitting with the assistance of Rotterdam and, two Rotterdam judges, Ken Litz and McLaughlin. It's required by the OCA. I want to highlight that the money was appropriated there. It's not like we're reaching into contingencies or anything. That money was there. It was appropriated. It was considered. Well, it wasn't considered, but it was appropriated into the Justice Department appropriations for this year. So that's the reason. So he's sitting by himself now.
In other words, he's run a court by himself.
Correct.
Because we got $1,503.80.
Right, but that's last month. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, he's doing it now.
I think August 30th maybe or something, that week.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Cool. I'll confirm that though, Doug. Anything for Doug? All right. Joe?
I would just like to make, Princetown lost a friend last night in Fred Barch, who has been very helpful to us, passed away. And it's a very sad day. I mean, he helped us weather this storm with our taxes, and his advice was just very, very helpful. So I would just like to, may you rest in peace.
Thanks, Joe. Anything for Joe?
Well,
Thank you.
Mr. Lou?
Like I just said before, the state police, the roof is gonna be completed within a month. They're very busy, signed the contract, so he's gonna come over and do a final walkthrough before he commences work on it. And the window was ordered, that was has to be replaced.
Thank you.
I was gonna talk.
I was gonna talk.
Town hall is looking good. No problems that I can foresee. I know that some people complain about the air conditioning not working properly, but that's the way the system is designed. there's nothing we can actually do about it. We've got 3 different compressors operating, and thermostats are placed in various places that makes one come on more often than the other, and one end of the building is cooler, but unless we move the thermostat towards the center of the hallway and on the other end of the building there, where your office is, we're always going to continue to have that problem. So, other than that, nothing else is going on. Everything's been working fine.
Good deal. Questions for Lou? Mr. Bob?
Last meeting I was asked to follow up with the attorneys for the question that Mr. Keniston had, and I was able to touch base with the attorney, and I do have information for Mr. Keniston, but I have not been able to yet talk to him, so we're still in the process of following up on that. So.
And can you share the information, or is it private, or?
Well, it's kind of one of those things where I'd rather not talk about it. I mean, for Mr. Keniston's benefit.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else, Bob?
Not at this moment. No.
All right. For myself, pretty much touched on a lot of stuff. I want to say thank you to Mary Sue Reed and the Civic Committee. The family night was another good success. Thanks to Joe Drzezinski and the volunteers come in, and especially thank you to West Blessing and Pine Grove and John Tobias and Potterkill for their sending their teams down with the trucks to entertain the kids. So really good stuff. Although I'm expecting an official letter, I think I mentioned last month that we resubmitted our audit request, I guess, for Standard & Poor. So some great news came back. We've been, our credit rating for the town has gone up. It's gone from A+ to AA-, which kind of sounds different, but apparently it is going up. So with a stable outlook. So great news, since for a couple of years the team has been working at this, that our credit rating continues to climb. I want to thank the staff, the board, for their continued focus on cost reductions and making the town's credit rating go up. So I hope to see an official email, but I did talk and get an email from Standard & Poor Prime, so that was pretty good. I think that's about really all I have for. I thought I had more, but I guess not. Okay, anything for me? All right, I'd like to take a few minutes before we actually get to the minutes approval and everything, to talk about the zoning process we're going through right now. I touched base with ECO, so they're kind of on schedule. I didn't get a firm schedule of when they're going to publish the book. What happened here? And as the town knows, we did do, we've been reading through, and we want to comment on chapter 137, which was site plan. And our agreement with the board amongst ourselves was that we'd read through it. I would document the comments as by the board, and then hand them to the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, the zoning review committee, Heather Erler, our consultant, Laura Savage, our town planner, and then Jeff Baker, our land use lawyer, for comments. So I'll be handing them out as we go along here. So I guess really before we go a whole lot further here, I'd like to understand from the board, you know, is this going to continue to hold up E-code? Is that where we're going here? You know, a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into it, and, you know, I stayed true to what I promised, that we'd go through these chapters one by one, sentence by sentence, word by word, to see what the, you know, some of the concerns were. But while I was going through them, I also went back, and folks, there's some documentation here, we can start handing them out. Some of my concerns were that when I started looking at this one, so, you know, those 3 chapters in particular were amended in 2006. In particular, and they're all laws, because when we looked at it, it's like going law, you know, town or local law 15, 2006. So you know, the board at the time looked at environmental seeker, subdivision, and site plan, and then they amended chapter 200 6 times in 2006. So, you know, like I said, I'm keeping my word. I'm going to go through these one by one, but I'm trying to understand in my head what is so different from these zoning chapters that were changed in 2006 between then and now. Because, you know, it went through the proper process down there. It went through ZRC. ZRC approved it, and apparently the town board approved them. In particular, chapter 200 6 times. So my question really to the board is, you know, I want to keep going with the, you know, I'll keep going with however you want to do it, but is this going to hold up E-code when it comes? Because E-code, again, was to update, and I was talking to Nick the other night, and he said the same thing. Like, there's so many conflicts in some of our laws. That's what E-code is trying to do, is simplify it, recategorize it, and then make it, you know, accessible on the website, so open to transparency, so everybody has you know, access to our laws. But the concern was, well, these last 3 zoning chapters. And I know zoning is very, very important, but again, these are minor changes, and the board that's sitting tonight approved these in 2006. So I'm trying to understand 2 questions. Is it going to hold up E-code? And B, what were the major changes between then and now that we're all concerned about? And, you know, I guess I'm not really expecting an answer. I'm just trying to understand, you know, why the churn when nothing changed. These are the ones you guys wrote. You wrote them. So, you know, they're there for people to see, you know, when they were changed. So anyway, I just, you know, we'd like to finish it up. You know, I gave you my word. We'll follow along. We'll go through these in chapters one by one, and we'll follow the process we dictated. But, you know, again, you guys wrote these in 2006. You wrote them. When you put your name on it, you own it. So, with that, I'm going to ask, you know, again, did Vic Benson come in? No. I guess I'll read Dick. So I got Pat, Laura, I'll read Heather's, Paul's got his comments from his committee. I've got Jeff Baker's comments, so I guess Pat, it's okay, we'll start with you.
So this is the response from the planning board.
Did you get the planning board one? Yeah. Did you get the planning board one?
Yes. In response to Supervisor Joyce's letter requesting comment or recommendation on Councilman Esposito's and Meyer's proposed changes to Princetown site plan review law, the planning board offers the following. Section 137-2E3, Councilman Lou Esposito doesn't feel that commercial property owners should be told they cannot build their commercial facilities along ridge lines. The law currently states that, quote, siting of structures on crests of ridge lines should be avoided, end quote. It does not prohibit building commercial facilities on ridge lines. However, placement of buildings on ridge lines, particularly those with significant slope, can lead to excessive soil erosion, landsliding, and interference with scenic views. While ridge lines are not plentiful in the commercial areas or the commercial zones of Princetown, the planning board currently has the discretion to limit building in these areas should it feel it is necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare due to specific site conditions. Although the likelihood of encountering a situation such as this in a commercial zone is minimal, removing the planning board's ability to protect ridge lines from development when site conditions warrant it, when preservation of scenic views is supported by the community, or when there is a threat of soil erosion, catastrophic landsliding, and water pollution, could have severe and far-reaching consequences for the town. In addition, Goal 13.02A of the current comprehensive plan states, quote, amend zoning, subdivision, and site plan regulations in town to protect critical environmental features such as streamside vegetation, steep slopes, wetlands, ridge lines, floodplains, etc. As we already have protection for ridge lines in our current site plan review law, removing this language would be inconsistent with the current comp plan. Therefore, the members of the planning board unanimously recommend keeping this language intact in the site plan review law as it provides for community health, safety, and welfare protection and is consistent with the town's current comp plan. Section 137.2F, Councilman Bob Myers doesn't feel that property owners should need to replace trees that were taken down to build their new structures. The law actually states, quote, where practicable, trees with diameter exceeding 8 inches measured 3 feet above the base of the trunk that must be removed because they are located within a specific area to be built upon shall be replaced by an equal number of trees with a minimum caliber of 1.5 inches, unless there remain at least 8 trees of at least 1.5 inches larger of suitable shade tree species suitably placed. This is not a strict requirement, particularly if enough mature trees are left on the site after development. It is a measure that is intended to ensure that trees are maintained to some extent on the property and to prevent the clear cutting or general denuding of a site. Mature trees help preserve the rural character of our town, one of the main goals of the current comprehensive plan, and they add significantly to property values. They also provide shading that reduces energy costs, counter the effects of paving and impervious surfaces by reducing soil erosion, increasing infiltration of rainwater to groundwater supplies, and create buffers and screens and increase scenic beauty. This is particularly important in commercial multifamily unit settings where the site plan law has jurisdiction. Obviously, the planning board would take into consideration the intended use of the property and where maintenance of trees would be most beneficial. With the exception of requiring buffers, the planning board members could not recall ever having or ever making replacement of trees a condition of site plan approval, but removal of this language would cause the planning board to no longer have the discretion to require replacement of trees where it deems it necessary to preserve community character and reduce adverse environmental effects of development. Therefore, the members of the planning board unanimously recommend keeping this language intact as it provides for community health, safety, and welfare protection and is consistent with the town's current comp plan. Finally, in section 137-7, Councilman Lou Esposito feels the town board should add language that the town board should have approval over large projects. First of all, there's no definition of, quote, large project. It is unclear how the town board would make this distinction and direct projects to itself, rather than the planning board for review and approval. In any case, the town board would have to follow the same laws and procedures in reviewing, quote, large projects as the planning board does now, but without the benefit of the experience, training, and expertise the planning board has amassed. Unless the town board members are prepared to become subject matter experts in the area of planning, zoning, seeker, federal and state town laws, turning, quote, large projects over to them could result in serious consequences for the town. Land use decisions must be based on facts and adherence to the laws, not on opinions, and any questionable land use actions by the town board could very easily be subject to Article 78 proceedings. Alternatively, if Councilman Esposito is suggesting that the planning board do all the work of review and approval, but then the town board be given veto power on the planning board's decision, this is an even more serious and potentially dangerous position. The planning board follows the laws it is given to work with, and decisions are based on factual findings that are legally defensible. Should the town board step in and try to make a different decision, this again exposes the town to challenge and legal action by the applicant or concerned citizens. Additionally, the vast majority of municipalities adhere to a separation of powers where independent groups are set up and given authority to handle specific situations. In most towns, the town board is the legislative body, while the planning board is delegated approval authority over subdivisions, special use permits, and commercial development. Similarly, the Zoning Board of Appeals oversees issuance of variances to the zoning code and is the body to hear appeals to land use decisions. The town board typically and appropriately has no influence over the decisions of these independent bodies, and in fact, it would be a questionable practice if it did. The planning board strongly recommends that this change not be made, and thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Paul or Mark?
This is my response as the town planner regarding the site planning law. For section 137-2E3, in response to Councilman Esposito's comment, property owners should not be told that they cannot build their commercial facilities along ridge lines. I would have to disagree. Each law was written for a specific thoughtful purpose. These laws are made to regulate the use and development of land with the public interest in mind. Hillside and ridgeline development causes erosion through increased water and pollution runoff that impacts prospective residents as well as those who live at lower elevations nearby. Drainage problems can even lead to landslides. Development of steep slopes above 15% requires expensive infrastructure improvements like septic systems, driveways, and roadways that are difficult to construct and maintain. Such development often results in the creation of crash-prone roadways that may limit access for emergency response vehicles such as fire trucks and ambulances. Fundamentally, inappropriate development along hillside and ridgelines can degrade the visual and scenic qualities that often define a community's natural character. I believe the law should not be changed. For section 137-2F, Councilman Myers doesn't feel that property owners should need to replace trees that were taken down to build their new structures. Tree replacement is a common practice in site planning in most towns and cities for the following reasons. Trees are valuable assets to the community both for their aesthetic values and for their ecological benefit. Trees reduce the impact of stormwater runoff, improve air quality, moderate the effects of wind and temperature, provide shade, and provide habitat for wildlife. Additionally, trees enhance the visual appearance and aesthetic character of the area. Again, these are well thought out laws designed to enhance the character of our community. They are common standards in the planning practice. I don't think the law should be changed. For section 137-7, Councilman Lou Esposito feels that the town board should add language that the town board should have approval over large projects. I don't think this is necessary, and I think it could pose legal issues for the town. The planning board follows a complete and thorough process for reviewing projects. The planning board, through this process, makes sure that all the town's laws, county laws, and state laws are properly adhered to prior to approval. If the project complies with all of the laws and the town's zoning requirements, then legally there should be no reason to not approve the project. Conversely, if the planning board denies the project, there has to be some reason as to why the project does not comply with the town's laws, or a reason for how it would somehow negatively affect the town and thereby not be allowed. If the planning board denies approval for a project, there would be a long history of documents to show the reasons for the denial. Additionally, applicants want to know for sure that if they follow all the steps and required laws, that they will indeed get their permit. It would be burdensome for the applicant to go through the process just to have the town board come in at the end and have a final arbitrary say in the decision. The planning board members spend a lot of time in annual training, reviewing projects, participating in meetings, and making decisions. It would almost be a hindrance to the town board members to have to spend as much time as the planning board members do on these issues when they could be utilizing their time for other important town issues. The town board should stand behind the planning board members that they have appointed and trust that the members are doing a good job and working together to protect and enhance the town. In conclusion, I do not agree with Councilman Esposito.
Thanks a lot. Laura, I didn't run off a copy of yours before you go. So, and then for the board, so I sent them, so my mistake, but we don't have Vicks and ZBAs, we don't have Heathers, and obviously we're missing Laura's. So, yeah, I'll get them into your inbox and then we can read them at the next meeting. So sorry about that. Paul?
Supervisor Joyce requested the advice of the ZRC and others on 3 issues that were raised in regard to Princetown site plan review law. Section 137-2E3, Councilman Lou Esposito doesn't feel that commercial property owners should be told they cannot build their commercial facilities along ridge lines. The law, as you've already heard, currently states the siting of structures on crests of ridge lines should be avoided. It does not prohibit the building. But building on ridge lines is neither practical nor cost effective. Ridge lines are difficult and expensive to develop, requiring a great deal of grading. The soil is usually unsuitable for development, and most ridge lines lack both roads and utilities. Commercial development will also create much impervious surface, the buildings themselves, storage areas, and parking lots. These will cause drainage issues and erosion, producing problems for properties below the development. I passed in 4 short articles that I think Sandy will distribute it, but these are just excerpts from 2 of them. The town of Canandaigua has an abundance of natural resources, including scenic ridge lines. The comprehensive plan recognizes the significance of these ridge lines and recommends the development of guidelines to describe methods to site buildings in a manner that minimizes visual impacts while still allowing for scenic views. And in another one, ridge lines are often considered scenic areas and add to the character and visual quality of the communities they surround. Protection of ridge lines can lead to increased property values and preserve a community's distinctiveness while attracting positive growth. So the members of the ZRC unanimously recommend keeping the law intact. Section 137-2F, Councilman Bob Myers doesn't feel that property owners should need to replace trees that were taken down to build their new structures. The law actually reads, where practicable, trees with a diameter exceeding 8 inches that must be removed because they're located within a specific area to be built upon should be replaced by an equal number of trees with a minimum size of 1.5 inches. Again, there is no strict requirement, yet mature trees help preserve the rural character of our town, one of the most repeated phrases in the new comprehensive plan, and they add significantly to property values. Here are 2 excerpts from the other 2 articles I gave you. A 25-foot tree reduces annual heating and cooling costs of a typical residence by 8 to 12%, while asphalt paving and concrete building and walkways reflect heat, causing heat islands. A mature tree canopy reduces air temperatures by about 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. influencing the internal temperatures and air conditioning needs of nearby buildings. The net cooling effect of a healthy tree is equivalent to 10 room-size air conditioners operating 20 hours a day. And on the subject of retail and commercial environments, trees stimulate retail and commercial business districts by attracting shoppers, increasing sales, and revitalizing declining downtown. In a survey of communities, 74% of the public preferred to patronize commercial establishments whose structure and parking lot had trees and other landscaping. In the survey of real estate appraisers, 86% agreed that landscaping added to the dollar value of commercial property, and 92% also agreed that landscaping enhances the sales appeal of commercial real estate. So, here too, the members of the ZRC unanimously recommend keeping this law intact. Finally, Section 137-7. Councilman Lou Esposito feels the town board should add language that the town board should have approval over large projects. This is a very serious and potentially dangerous issue. The town board is the legislative branch of our government. With the input of the town's citizens and committees, you make the laws. The planning board follows those laws and helps applicants understand and follow them too. But when an applicant has followed the laws and has been approved by the planning board, then trying to insert yourselves into that process is just asking for a lawsuit. Let's take the case of big box stores. There is currently no zoning law that prevents them in our town. The comprehensive plan says, section 1310(8), consider adding a maximum building footprint size to commercial retail structures to prevent big box development. That's very clear. And the ZRC will send you a proposed zoning law that will do just that, with details about exact maximum size. You can change our numbers or our wording any way you want. That's what you do. You make the laws. But when you've made that law and the planning board has used it to accept or reject an application, you have to step aside. So once again, the ZRC unanimously and very strongly recommends you do not make that change.
So I'll read Jeff Baker's guidance. Again, I apologize for not having this. He sent it to me, I thought I had it, and then Heather sent me hers, and I thought I printed it up. And obviously, Laura's pretty up. So from Jeff Baker, proposed changes to site plan law. Dear Mike, I am writing in response to your letter in August requesting my comment on suggested changes to the site plan law. I apologize for not responding. My comments are below, and I previously discussed using map issue. Section 137, 2E3. The question was raised whether commercial property owners should be told that commercial buildings should not be built along ridge lines. I believe this question misunderstands the provisions of the site plan law. The reference section is not a prohibition on structures along ridge lines, but a factor that can be considered by the planning board during the site plan review. In my opinion, this is a reasonable provision that adds to the planning board's toolbox when reviewing projects to minimize impacts to adjoining property owners and the town generally. It is also consistent with section 13-01A, sections 2 and 3 of the town's comprehensive plan that states one of the goals of the town is to protect visual resources and help buildings blend into the landscape. As you know, the town's land use laws are intended to facilitate and implement the goals of the comprehensive plan. If a particular project has a strong need to be placed on a ridgeline and or would face significant difficulties in avoiding the ridgelines, that is a factor the planning board would consider. But protecting the ridgeline and the visual resources of the town is an important goal that protects the town's resources from short-sighted, selfish interests of individual landowners. I strongly recommend maintaining this language. Section 137-2F. The question was raised that property owners should not be required to place trees removed as part of the project development. Again, I believe this comment misstates the law. The site plan provides for the minimization of the elimination of mature trees and provides, where practical, for the replacement. The replacement is not in kind, but by trees that have minimum caliber size that is far smaller than the trees removed. As my comment above, this is fairly standard provision to add to the planning board's toolbox to ensure sound and sensitive site design. Requiring landscaping and efforts to minimize the removal of mature trees is the essence of sound site planning and is consistent with the goals of the comprehensive plan. I strongly recommend maintaining this provision. And finally, section 137-7. Apparently one councilperson believes the town board should retain final approval authority over large projects. While some towns do reserve approval authority over certain projects, such a change would require significant change not only to site plan review, but to the zoning laws. While one could argue the respective merits of such a change, it would inevitably raise a number of issues. First is the obvious question of defining the range of projects subject to the town board approval. Second is the recognition that such an increase in the town board's jurisdiction could significantly increase the town board's workload. The town board would have increased responsibilities under seeker, and since it retains approval, could not delegate the authority to the planning board. Furthermore, town board members would be subject to annual training requirements in land use planning that is currently required of the planning board and zoning board field members. While the town board could exempt itself from those requirements, it would seem obvious that such an exemption would defeat the purpose of the town board undertaking land use approval decisions, especially for major projects. I would strongly recommend leaving the land use decisions to the boards who have been already demonstrated the expertise. I can honestly say in the short period that I have been working with the planning board and the ZBA that I've been impressed by their knowledge and diligence in approaching their jobs. The town board should remain as a legislative body adopting and amending laws as they deem appropriate and not get involved in the day-to-day review of projects. Thank you for consideration, Jeff Baker. So again, my mistake that I didn't have ZBA, Heather's, or Laura run hers off and do review before maybe she takes off, but do we want to reserve comments to the next board meeting? Or do you guys want to socialize it now? Do we want to open up a chapter and look at it? I would think it would be wise to listen to, we already heard Heather, so we just really need to hear from Vic Benson and the ZBA members, and then Heather. So we can just wait till the next meeting if you want, but it's up to you. Doug, what are your thoughts?
As I remember the town, when you had a big project or something, it always went to the town board. I just don't understand. That's the way it was. When they did Willow Run and all them up there, the town boards weren't approved. The planning board did their job. Everybody did their job. It went to the planning board. It went to everybody, and then the town board approved it. That's the way it was back then. Maybe today it's something different. I don't understand it.
When did they do Willow Run?
In the 70s.
The 70s?
Well, early 80s. It was in the 70s, because I drilled wells up there. And all I'm saying is the planning board told everybody, the town board, what they thought, what the town board thought, what they thought was to be TBA and all that. Then it went to the town board and they approved it. Is that right or wrong, Pat?
But I know. I wasn't here in the 70s.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, we've changed the laws considerably since the 70s.
Right.
They were changed in 1993, 2003, and as recently as in 2006. And in 2006, I mean, almost all the zoning laws were changed, and
I'm just saying, that's the way the town used to run, and it never had a problem. Now all of a sudden there's a problem, I don't understand it.
I don't think that's true. Because it's,
Where are you gonna
it's
build?
40 years ago, Doug.
Where are you gonna build a big box store in Princetown? Tell me where you're gonna build it.
Wait.
We're a little town.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to build a warehouse over
You
here.
wanna shut everything down in Princetown right now.
who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Well, they wanna have little stores and all that. There's nowhere you're gonna build in Princetown a big box store. Where are you gonna build it? Tell me, I'd like to know
Well,
where it is.
it's up to the developers, isn't it?
Yeah, but where are you gonna build it?
I don't know.
In the other end of town, they're gonna build something up there. But what are they gonna build here?
So if there's no concern about big box stores, then why would the town board need approval?
Why not?
Because too many hands in the pot spoil the porridge. I don't know.
Whatever, I've stated my case.
Well, I guess, Doug, if I was, in 2006, why wasn't this, issue addressed then? I mean, that law was passed 6 times. Section 200. Site plan and subdivision were passed again, making it 7 times. The ZRC at the time didn't make that recommendation. So I guess that's why, if there's, if there's some logic, I'm trying to understand it. I mean, but 7 times it was changed in 2006 and it was never mentioned. And I'm not saying, well, let me back up here a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not willing to entertain it, et cetera. There's 2 questions here, because I don't want this discussion to interrupt general code and E-code. If the town board says they want to redo these zoning laws, let's move forward. We'll engage the ZRC just as you guys did in 2006. That's fair, fair is fair. But that's a major change in how Princetown does government. And that, if that's the debate we want to have, I'm for it. I like debates. But I don't want it to interrupt or hold hostage the E-code, general code. Again, if this is what we want to do, then we want to have it. That's great. It's fair, it's the American way. But, that's a major change in how Princetown does government, and that's, outside the scope of, and should be completely different than general code. So just for, I'm just throwing that out there for consideration, that's all.
Can I make it down?
Well, I was just gonna go down the line, yeah. And don't forget, we still gotta read 2 more, recommendations too, so, we don't have to, finish it all tonight, but. Joe?
I moved into Princetown in the year 2000. All the books, all the laws that were on the books affected me, the property that I bought, and things have worked. And I see in 2000, weren't you on the board in 2006, Doug?
Yeah, I was, and I didn't like it when it was that.
Why'd you sign it?
Or what, I don't know. I
Well,
was naive with it.
Well,
But all I'm saying is what year did you move here?
2000.
2000. And I'm just gonna ask you a question. 2 years ago, a year ago, how many trees did you cut down that were this big around?
A whole bunch of them.
So.
And what did you do? What did you do with the trees?
What do you mean, what did I do with them?
What
I cut them up and made lumber out of them.
and then you dug a pond, okay?
Yeah, got a
You
permit.
did pretty much whatever you wanted to do, that's what I want. I want to be able to take my property and do what I want to do with it. I don't want somebody telling me
Yeah.
that I can't do it.
So,
But you're-
whoa, slow down. We're way off track.
Yeah.
Way off track. This is site plan review. Doug, if you want to dig a pond, you can do whatever you want on your property. That is not what's in question here. That is not what, you can cut down, Bob, you can cut down trees, Joe, you can cut trees down. Do whatever you want on your property. That's not what we're debating. Debate is site plan review.
Right.
Specifically, that is what it is. That's it. That's what this conversation is about. So I'd like to respectfully understand everyone's concern, but respectfully, I need you to stay focused. This discussion for a couple more minutes is about site plan review and any feedback to the comments you've heard.
So that's commercial, right? Site plan reviews for commercial properties, not
Right.
the individual properties that Doug and Joe were discussing?
Correct.
Right.
Sorry, thank you for
Not
clarification.
residentials?
Right.
Right.
So, Joe, comments on site plan review, chapter
I
137.
think, based on my experience living in Princetown, that the laws that we have on the books are adequate, they do the job. Now, does that mean they can't be tweaked in the future? No, it's a living document. So I'm very pleased with what we have and willing to go forward, put it into T code and move forward.
Well, I want to interrupt 1 second. So it's not going to make E-code. Eventually it will, but not the first edition. That one got missed on these 3 chapters. What's going in E-code is the old laws. These changes, whether we make them, we don't make them, they have to be filed separately.
The old laws from 2006.
What's the, right, those 3
So
chapters?
what are we arguing about? It's already in, just forget it.
Well,
That's pretty much what you're saying. Pretty much what you're saying is it's already in E-code and that's what you're gonna do, so
no.
that's the bottom line.
It's not what I'm saying. Anyway, go ahead, Luke. Sorry, Joe, you done?
Yeah.
Luke?
I gave you my comments at the last couple board meetings of what I thought of it.
Site plan review?
Absolutely, if you're gonna do a site plan review on commercial development, I gave you my comments on it. People own the land, they should be able to, I don't think they should be able to be told what they can and cannot do. That's my opinion. Doesn't matter if it's not a commercial property. What's the difference if it's a residential property or commercial property? They own the land. Somebody owns the land on Route 7 and they want to develop it.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a little bit of misunderstanding, at least on my part, okay? When it comes to the fact that we were talking about the board having a final say, I don't think we should have a final say after the planning board and all of these committees have already done the work. If we have anything to say, I think it should be before all the work is done. And I'll give you an example. My line of thinking was, say somebody came in and wanted to put a casino here in our town. I think that, you know, that's something that should either go to a vote or the town board decide. I'm not saying that every project that our planning board or our ZRC or, I'm not saying the board needs to have a final decision on all of that. That's just for my clarification. I don't think that that's necessary. And with this site plan review, I mixed it up with the tree issue, you know, with another chapter. So, but I still am one for, if somebody owns the property, I don't like the idea of us, for the town, telling them everything that they can and can't do. So,
Okay.
that's just mine.
All right, good deal.
And I'm not for holding E-code up. I think, like Joe said, I think there is room for tweaking, and I think that we need to, you know, pursue that and continue forward with it.
You know, you have my word on that. I said I'd do that, and I'll do it. But again, I don't wanna mix them up. You know, eco is very generic changes, chapters, numbers, stuff like that. Two-family, multi-dwelling. That's all. So if it's okay with the board, I will table this discussion until we hear from the ZBA. And again, I apologize for not being quite as prepared as I should be, and Heather's comments. And then we can open up and see what we want to do. Is that fair for everybody? Good, Lou? Good, done, Doug? All right. Well, thanks for the thoughts and effort. All right. I know we got a little bit of work. We don't. It's actually kind of not too busy at night, but so as the board knows, we're just entering the budget season. So here's some work that we're ready to do. So I should have got your folder. I'll get your folder. This is some of that RFP we've been talking about. Just copies up here for the board or for the residents. So I want to incorporate some of this into our budget discussions. So things to consider. I went ahead. I know nobody's been attending the UCC meetings. Oops. Here you go. I have one bottom. So you'll see that. When's the next one? Yeah, I forgot one for myself. And so I'm also, I would say I made a note to myself to make a copy for the board, but I didn't do it. So I'll make copies of this. But here's what I want to do too. This is the 5-year capital improvements plan. So what we want to do, I'll make copies of this. So for like Lou and each department's going to have to go ahead and forecast what they think they need for 5 years. For example, let's say Princetown Town Hall, I think they mentioned, a couple of years we'll need a roof. So figure the roof is 3 years out, new bathroom in 2 years, whatever, Lou or the board thinks. But we want to start laying out what we think our project capital expenditures should be over the next years. And this way we can accurately plan as much as we can our future budgets. So I'll get a copy of this for everybody. And there's also a worksheet that I need to get to you too. So I apologize, I'm not quite prepared for that, but it'll be in your inbox, and then we can use it to do some capital improvement planning. Hope you use that software. So I guess that's that. So 2 more items, then we'll just get to business here. I cannot make the agenda meeting. It's up to you guys if you want to have it, if you want to schedule it. Our next town board meeting is October 14th. We can do maybe 2 meetings that month, like the 14th, 21st, and 28th. Or you guys can meet. I just can't make the November meeting. Just can't do it. The real job that pays the bills has to come first. So that's that.
You said November.
Oh, I'm sorry, September.
Oh.
I meant that's the other November. So I can't make the September 23rd meeting, but we can do 3 meetings and make up some time in October if you want.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Doug? Okay. I know
It's
you're-
on the date, what's the date?
The 14th is their next town board meeting, so we do the 14th, the following Tuesday, the 21st, and then the 28th.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't, who knows, I might be dead by then.
Well, I hope not, but anyway. That'll put a damper on it.
It's not that far.
You wouldn't shut the meeting down, you'd still have it. It's not a big deal.
Well, they would have it in your barn.
Well, we had the meetings in the barn, it'd probably be better.
I tend to agree
We
with
could
that.
get him to come over with a camera.
That might maybe be a good move.
Yeah, you could sit on a bale of hay instead
All
of.
right, let's get back to business. Joe, what's your thought?
Well, I think, you know, the agenda meeting, I mean, we can just cancel that and move on to the.
3 in October?
Yeah.
Lou,
That's fine with me.
you good? Mr. Bob?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, so I will make a note to, we'll cancel the September agenda and then go for 3 meetings in October, 14, 21, 28. It's gonna be busy, guys. We're gonna have the budget to do, plus, you know, finish up some of the zoning stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, good deal. All right, good. So, for the budget, I know Lou, you got your stuff in, thank you. I got most of the stuff in. I might be missing 1 or 2 budget worksheets. So my intention here is to get, according to our schedule, everything's supposed to be in, I said Friday, but hopefully tomorrow, Wednesday, being kind of the last day of business for the week. And then I'll get the tentative budget put together out and in your mailboxes, well, to Sandy, then Sandy has to certify it and do her stuff, and then we'll get it into your mailboxes. But I'll also put together folders for everybody, so it'll have the 5-year capitalization process in here. It'll have the 5-year capital plan. It'll have the spreadsheets per department saying what investments do you think you need in the capital improvements for each department, plus the RFP stuff, so that'll be in there. That's probably going to be more towards the town hall stuff. And so, and then plus all the budget worksheets. So you guys will have, each have a folder with the stuff, so we can just sit and go for it. So I'll be putting them together, asking Hyla to put together that stuff for you. So, you know, hopefully you guys will have every piece of data you want or need. Is there anything you want else that you want me to put into your folders for the budget stuff? Yeah?
No?
Joe?
No, I think.
Lou? Bob?
Sounds good.
What Loretta did do, I'm not sure what spreadsheet's on, but she did go back and look at Omnis, you know, 2013, 12, 11. You can see the spending here. So this is a good indicator of how much we want to probably forecast, and then whether at some point we want to go to, you know, just a standard maintenance contract, because these are by hour. And sometimes, like, we could do a maintenance contract for like $2,000 or $2,500, even $3,000, and you'd still be saving money, right? Because they're running up to $7,000. So we'll try to get that all put together for you, so we can make some good decisions. All right. Any questions from the board about the budget process or? Okay. We're all good? All right, let's start with some business. All right, do I have a motion the town board minutes for the August 12th, 2014 town board meeting and the August 19th special town board meeting are approved?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
And Joyce, yes. We talked about the new business, or those the action register and the zoning thing, so. So let me explain this next resolution to you. It's a little bit long. So this is back again during the organizational meeting. You know, Sandy was new and I was trying to help her. Obviously, I didn't help her too well. When I was putting together the resolutions for the organizational meeting, I cut and pasted. So what I did is I had resolution 1409 twice, one for Mike Cuevas and then one for Jeff Baker, and then I had a 1410 twice, one for Jeff Baker and one for Mike Cuevas. So I'm asking the board is to say, look, let's combine the two Mike Cuevases into a 1409 and then the two Jeff Bakers into 1410. So, you know, again, my mistake, but we need to clean it up because the resolution count is off in Sandy's book of laws.
The way you just explained it seems to me is enough, that you don't have to read through all of this.
Well, these are the new, so on this page 6, right at the top there, those are the original resolutions. And then underneath, you can see I combined the 2 for Mike Cuevas under 1409, and then the 2 for Jeff Baker under 1410.
Yeah.
So, okay, if I just read off the hot resolution high points?
Yeah, I would just, either just read the resolve portion.
Okay. Okay. All right, so amendment to resolutions 1409 and 1410. Whereas at the beginning of the year, several resolutions were misnumbered in an effort to properly align the 2014 resolution numbers. The current resolutions are referenced below. Therefore, be resolved, the town board of the town of Princetown hereby resolves the following resolutions. 1409 be combined and to read as follows, and those are the 2 for Mike Cuevas. And then be further resolved that the town board of the town of Princetown hereby resolves the following resolution 1410 be combined to read as follows, and then for Jeff Baker. So do I have a motion?
So,
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Joe. Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
And Mr. Joyce, yes, passed. Just a quick math here, folks. So, town board approves claims. This is water fund. So this is water fund claims abstract number 9. The town board approves. Got a motion. The town board approves claims 85 through 96 in the amount of $2,561.20.
so moved.
Thank you, Bob. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Lou. Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
And Mr. Joyce, yes. General fund claims. Holy cow. Do I have a motion that the town board approves claims 229 to 256 in the amount of $41,074.65.
So moved.
So Bob, second.
I'll second.
Lou. Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
Joyce, yes. Hey Sandy, could we put a note in here that we attach the abstracts to the meeting minutes?
I do. You don't have them?
Oh, you know what? I put in my own. I brought my own copy.
Mhm.
It was a test. You did good. Good job. All right. Bob asked me to ask you. I knew the names.
Mike, are these claims in the back the same as you're approving now?
Yes.
29, 256? 256 is $150, 229 is $102. I'm not sure how you got to 41,000.
Big number.
That's for all the vouchers in between.
It's everything in between.
No, it is everything in between,
Well,
okay.
you got 33,000 just in 245 and 248.
Yeah, so it goes
Oh,
from
two, okay, the
229
whole
to
page is,
256.
gotcha. What's the range?
You were testing Sandy too, weren't you?
My apologies.
All right, we need to do a couple transfers. General fund transfers 2014. The motion is hereby resolved, the town board approves the following transfers. $2,692 from the assistant court clerk to supply line 11104.1 supplies, it's unbudgeted. Transfer of $208.30 from the bookkeeper line 13401 to the bookkeeper's supply line 13404 for eco stipend, and then the amount of $14.21 from town clerk line 14102 to town clerk supply line for 14104 for postage.
I like that.
One question, how come it's under budgeted?
I'm gonna have to look at that one, Doug. I don't have my budget in front of me.
'Cause it seems like every time the court clerk comes up, it's under the budget.
Well, it's actually, yeah, we're actually transferring to supplies, not to the clerk. It's coming out of the clerk line. So we're taking money from it. We're not putting money in.
Okay.
Okay, so I had, Bob was the first.
I'll second.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yes.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
And Joyce, yes. Highway claims. Town board approves claims 3 and 4 in the amount of $1,741.29 for Muir at Kelly Station Road and for county maintenance road repairs, in particular the Van Patten Road. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Or, yeah, second. Thank you, Lou. Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yeah.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Myers? And Joyce, yes. And then appropriate transfer. The town board approved the transfer of $1,741.29 from account number 99019 to account number 5031. In the amount of, sorry, it's $1,741.29. If you get to scratch that in, Sam.
How does that come out to the same motor?
What's that?
How does that come out to the same price as the other one?
It's actually a transfer. You have to move it into the transfer fund to pay the bills. It's just, it's kind of strange, because technically we don't have a highway department in the true sense of the word. I'm sorry, do I have a motion?
So I just have a question. We are going to pursue to have that put up, though, correct?
They already put it up.
But
Nick's already took it down.
He's gotta take it back
take
down.
it back down. So as long as we're going to pursue to still use it.
I'm hoping we are. Yeah.
All right, now take a motion.
Second? Lou? Mr. Lou?
Yes.
Mr. Doug?
Yeah.
Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Bob?
Yes.
And Joyce, yes. And we will open it up for roads to the floor. 9:45, 8:45.
I have a question, Bishop. I'm looking at this action register, and I notice there's a few items that haven't had any action all year, and I'm wondering why. Particularly, some of these road issues that residents came in with, like on Parker's Corners, Darrow Road, there's been no action at all, and I'm wondering, these people have had some legitimate complaints and why nothing's been done on them. And also, position profiles, update, nothing's been done. Water purveyor law, nothing's been done. Just kind of wondering what's going on in between town board meetings that none of these things are being worked on.
Additional comments from the floor? I'm assuming you're done, Matt, right?
Well, I thought I'd get an answer.
Well, technically the rules are.
I know what the rules are, but
All right. I just want to be technical and say I don't know.
I'd just like to know what the town board's doing in between the meetings and why any of these things aren't getting done.
You're talking about Darrow Road? You gotta go to Schenectady County, and Schenectady County is already told that the speed limit is, okay.
Well, then it should be closed, and the residents should be informed of that.
Parker's Corners was the same thing. They've been through it, they were gonna change the intersection and reduce the speed limit, was the same thing. They said the county doesn't wanna do it, the state does not wanna do it.
Well, actually, the state said they want to do it. They did say agreed with the proposed, it's just a matter of funding. The funding.
They don't have the funds, and they're not gonna do it.
Well, and like I say, then it should be closed and people informed. If nothing's gonna get done, then people need to know that.
The whole thing is, when it comes to the county, town of Princetown does not own that road. You have to go to the county or the state.
I understand that.
Okay, well,
And
that was brought up in the meetings in February and March.
Well, I guess what they request is if there's, you know, taking Parker's Corners, for example, if we need to find funding, then that should be what we should be trying to do.
And the state doesn't have any funding. And where are you gonna get it from? Town of Princetown wanna pay for it?
So,
right now, we can't afford what we got.
well, I guess really the question is, I mean, there's grants out there, and if enough squeaky wheels, you know, squeaky wheels gets the grease, enough people complain, they'll fix it. But- All right, additional comments? So actually, I should probably make a note to add the speed reduction request on, so I'll do that too.
Route 7, you wanna reduce the speed on Route 7, which that's what Joe wants.
Well, then some citizens do too.
And
Residents.
the residents do. But when you go to the state, they're gonna tell you that we went through it a long time ago.
Like I say, a squeaky wheel gets the grease, and if there's enough
And
accidents.
keep sending letters to them.
That's all.
The only thing you can do.
That's all I think the action is asking for, is for a couple of board members to send some letters and try to find some funding. Joe Ryan from Parker's Corners was in agreement, but he's, you know, if nobody squeaks, he's not gonna fund it, and staying with the state. You know, one of the ideas is to go to Angelo or whoever our representatives are nowadays and say, hey, you know, can you help us here? I think that's all the action is calling for, is like, try to make an effort at it anyway. will probably get shot down, but, you know, you gotta get, you gotta get the batter's box and take a swing before you can get knocked out. For our baseball analogies. All right, we're coming right up on Ben's time. Any other questions on the floor? Privileges on the floor? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joe?
Yes, sir.